Hey guys, happy Saturday. Wanted to share something with you. So in this post, if you scroll through, you'll see a picture of a big granite type rock, probably a 7-8 foot rock that is split in half. And this rock is about 3/4 of a mile from my house down the road where I run every morning. So I've seen this rock for the last 4 years since we've lived here. And it always makes me think of the story of Moses and in the book of Exodus when he strikes the rock and water comes from the rock and for the Israelites to drink while they're in the desert wandering. I've always thought of that story. I always thought it was just one story though, and I thought it was the story of him striking the rock when God tells him not to strike the rock, but just to speak to the rock. Well, it turns out it's actually two stories. I sat down and I studied a little bit this morning. So there's two stories. One is in Exodus, the book of Exodus in the Old Testament, chapter 17. So go read chapter 17, 1 through 6, 1 through 7, somewhere in there. And then go to the book of Numbers and read chapter 20, 1 through 12. So there's actually two stories. The first story, God instructs Moses to strike the rock. He says that I will stand before you, strike the rock, and I'll pour water out for the Israelites to drink and be saved. In the second story, in Numbers, and I'll read a short portion here. Moses and Aaron turned away from the people and went to the entrance of the tabernacle, where they fell down on the ground. Then the glorious presence of God appeared. God tells them, you and Aaron must take the staff and assemble before the entire community. As the people watch, speak to the rock over there, and it will pour out water. So he's not telling Moses to hit the rock with his staff. You will provide enough water for the rock to satisfy the whole community and their livestock. So Moses did what he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come gather at the rock. Listen, you rebels, he shouted. Must we bring you water from this rock? Must we bring you water from this rock? Meaning it was on his and Aaron's shoulders. And Moses raises the hand and strikes the rock twice with the staff, and water gushes out. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. So they got their water. He did the same thing. He struck the rock. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust in me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land that I am giving them. So Aaron and Moses miss out on their blessing of going into the promised land because he did not put his faith in God when God told him to speak to the rock. Rather, he leaned on his past experiences and what he felt he knew and he could trust that would work, and he struck the rock with a staff. So this sticks out to me a lot because I've heard this story preached a lot of times where we try to do things, we try to take things on our own shoulders rather than really stepping in faith and walking in faith with what God is asking us and telling us to do. Rather, we take it on ourselves and things that we are comfortable with. We know that we've seen work in the past, which doesn't take a lot of faith. So Moses knew that if he was going to strike this rock, the water was going to come out because God had given him that power in that staff. He had given him divine power to do things through himself physically. But that's not what God was asking Moses to do at this moment. He was asking him to step and be faithful in knowing that if you spoke to that rock because I said so, that water was going to be produced. So in the comment section, I want you to raise your hand if you've ever done something, even if it was good, even if it was something you knew that God was moving you to do, but you went and did it your own way rather than stepping in faith and doing something that felt uncomfortable. I know I have many times where I've forced things and I've done things ways that I know that I could do, or the ways that I think I could control things. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you because the picture of that rock that I'm going to share and running by that has always stuck in my mind, but I really didn't truly understand that story of Moses striking that rock and what it meant and why. It's interesting to me that God puts those two stories in the Bible. The first one in Exodus where he instructs Moses to strike the rock, which gives us the context of we can do all things through God, and he can give us certain powers to do things. But the second part of that stories and numbers, just goes to show that, hey, you've got to put your trust and you've got to put your faith in me. You know what the possibilities are. And even if we think that we know the way to get things done, the way to accomplish his will, we may be missing out on so much more blessings for ourselves or blessings for others, and missing opportunities to help others out if we don't actually do it the way that God is wanting us to do, which is stepping in faith, which is very uncomfortable, but that's why it's called faith. It's blindly stepping, one step at a time, where Jesus is shining the lantern for us to step. So anyway, wanted to share my thoughts on that. If you enjoyed that, want to share, want to comment, want to add to that, love to see it in the comment section. If you want more content like this and are interested in growing your faith and growing in a lot of other areas of your life, then hit subscribe and follow the READyMEN show. We're excited to provide some more content like this, so stay ready.